Okay, so whoever joined today. So yesterday we have discussed the basic agenda of the training. Okay, so we thought of starting today. And to start with our training, this is a specific tool called MuleSoft, which is completely for API management. Okay. Why we are saying API management? Here we'll be designing our API, we'll be building our API, we'll be controlling the access, we'll be providing security. The complete API life cycle will be monitoring and completing from this one tool. Under one umbrella, we'll be having all the life cycles of API. Now we can say it's a iPaaS solution. Why? Because it will be completely a service provided by Anypoint in terms of Anypoint platform by MuleSoft. Okay, so the infrastructure and everything will be taken care by MuleSoft, and this infrastructure is provided by something called Amazon AWS. Okay, so to have a complete setup, we'll be looking at this tool. So I have already shared this file in our drive. Okay, so who you are joined today, I'll share that drive link. So Pranali, that link will be coming to you, after this class. Okay. So yesterday we had one demo session. That link, that recording also is available on the drive. You can go ahead and look at it. Okay. So this all links, I have already created document for this, and it's available on our drive. So we'll start with the creating account, but let me first why we are actually considering this tool and what is all about. Okay. So if I go back to my whiteboard, and what is this API means, right? So we are going to handle the API lifecycle through this API management tool. So let me discuss first what is this API. So first question comes to our mind, what is this, right? Now API is something, it's a contract kind of stuff, but before going to that definition, I'll try to explain in layman perspective. Okay, so let's say you are a human being, you go to restaurant, right? So this is your restaurant. In the restaurant, you go and look for a table, right? So you go there in the hotel and you ask for a table. Now, the moment you sat on the table, you'll get something called menu card, right? So in menu card, you'll see all the items, right? All the dishes. Those are available in that hotel. Okay. Then the waiter will come and waiter will take order from you, right? So waiter will take order. So you are here, you ask for table, you ask for menu card, and there were items, you selected those items. Waiter came to you and asked, okay, what do you order? Okay, so you'll mention your order details to the waiter. Then the part of hotel, there is a kitchen over here. So whatever items you ordered, those will get cooked over here. Once those items are ready, the waiter, right? This is the guy who is taking order from you, from your table. It goes to the kitchen. Once the order is ready, it will take back to the table, right? So this scenario, if you look at this is exactly suits for our API. Now let me map this API to this scenario. So you are a client. Hotel is nothing but a complete environment. Okay. And waiter is nothing but a API. This menu card is nothing but a blueprint, or we can say the specification In the specification, we'll be getting all the informations available in that hotel. Okay. So with the items, we'll get a prices, everything. Whether that item is today available or not, that also that information will be available. So this menu card is nothing but a specification of this hotel or the items available at that day. So this specification is nothing but, in our case, we can say this is the API specification. Now to take this order, this is nothing but a request. Who is taking your request? A waiter is taking your request. And then the food, the prepared food is coming back to you, right? That is nothing but a response. Right? So your waiter is actually an API that is called an interface between client and a server. This kitchen is nothing but a server who is actually producing data for you. So you became a client. Your menu card, which is giving you all the information about the API, that becomes a specification. Your waiter is nothing but a interface between you and the kitchen. Kitchen is nothing but a server who is actually producing. So now, from the layman perspective, I'm actually giving you the technical words. Okay. Human being becomes a client. Your menu card becomes a specification. And your waiter is nothing but a API. And your kitchen is nothing but a server. Now, if you look at the actual diagram for client server model, this will be your client. This will be your server. Okay. From the client, the request will be sent to server. So request will go to server and the response will come back to the client. Okay. So this is the request. This is your response, and the request you'll be sending what you want, and the response you'll get the prepared data, cooked data or cooked food. Okay. Is that clear? And who is doing this? Who is taking your request from client to server and who is giving you the data back? That is nothing but an API. So to build an API, we need, so to before invoking, so this API will have methods, right? And what all methods are available, that information will be coming from our specification. Okay. So simple example, if I wanted to give you, online you can find some API which are available freely. So there is an API called request.in. You can go ahead and just trigger this API. See, there are options. Let me go with the single user. And if I say trigger this, see, this is the data I'm getting. Okay. So request.in is hosting a server, and API/user is nothing but an API, which is giving me data for different users. So right now I am asking for user 2. Okay. Now, if I ask for user 3, it's the responsibility of API to give me the data. So if I go ahead and ask for ID is equal to 3. Now there are different kinds of API available. Okay. So are we clear with this definition of the API? In a simple word, I've tried to explain it, right? So in API case, always client will be involved because somebody needs the data. Somebody has to produce the data. So in other words, we can say consumer and producer. These two entities has to be there to make use of the API. Okay, client, server, producer, consumer, whatever you want. Okay, whatever name you wanted to give, you can give. Now in specification, what will be there? So what all methods? Right? So methods will be like get, post, delete, put. These all methods will be available. Okay. and what all parameters are they are looking for. So if you guys are coming from a normal programming language, this is nothing but a signature of method, right? Hope I am clear. What is the return type of method? What input parameters expecting, right? What are the data types of those input parameters? What is the data type of that return output? All those things will be mentioned in this particular method signature. That all informations will be giving in the specification. And that specification document we can write in different languages. Okay. So one of the language MuleSoft is recommending, that is RAML. And this is specifically for REST APIs. I'll come back to this. What is REST API means? One more language is there, WSDL. Okay. WSDL is nothing but web service description language. This is for SOAP web service. Okay. So we'll discuss all this terminology. Just I'm, bringing these jargons one by one so that you'll be, definitely somewhere you heard this name, right? SOAP web service, REST APIs, WSDL. RAML is new for you. I know that RAML is specific to the MuleSoft. That's why I added over here. We'll talk about all these things. Okay. Is this clear so far? Any questions, guys? Kunal?
Yep.
Clear, right? Okay. Yep. Now, what is this REST API means? Okay, so we call it REST, right? REST API. So we need to understand this terminology. What is this REST means? Okay. Now let's say everybody, right? Now whoever is in this batch, let's say some are students, some are working people. Okay. So now even if you're a student or a professional, okay, working professional. Now, if you take admission to a school or college, or if you started working, what happens? Your data, your identity will be stored in some database. Okay, so let's say this is a DB. Either your employee or a student. This database can be a school database or can a company database, XYZ company database. Any point of time, your record will be stored in this particular database. There will be fields in this database records, right? Each field will be your state. State means like, what is your ID? What is your age? What is your email ID? What is your joining date? All this information will be available in this record. So this record is nothing but the representation of your state at that moment. If you are an employee, what is your profile, right? On what position you are, what is your salary, what is your joining date, what is your, employee ID, what is your age, what is your working email address. All that information will be available in this record. So can I say this record is actually representation of your state, right? Your state at that moment, whether you are a student or whether you are a professional. If you are a student, your complete, the current state, today, what you are, that information will be available over here in this record. You won't be having multiple records in the database. That record will be keep on updating, right? If you are a professional, if you are promoted, your status will get changed over there, right? If you are a student in first year, the status will be first year, then second year, your marks also will be somewhere stored. Okay. So this record is nothing but the current state of this resource. This is called resource. Okay. Student, professional, contractor, user, all these are resources. On these resources, I can perform some operations. So I can say get resource, means I can say get student information. I can create record, that means I can use post method. I can update that, so I can use either put or patch. I can delete the records. All these operations we apply on this resource. Okay. Now let's talk about a first method, where what I'm saying is give me a student information. That is nothing but the request will go from here to here. Okay. So now where you're asking this, let's say you're asking from some A server. Definitely the database is running on B server. And this actually, this request is traveling over internet, because this database is available on internet, right? So this is called network call. I am actually discussing basics. Okay. Hope everybody is clear with that. So this is actually a network call, right? From A to B, it's a network call. Okay. Now from B, so that means this request is traveling over a network. Okay. Now, so and definitely in the request, you'll give a unique ID. So maybe you'll ask for student 101. So that request will go to database. Database will query for 101, and you'll get a record back. And again, this record will be transferring over internet or network, we'll say. And then the state of the student, which is stored on this DB, it's getting transferred over a network to A. And that is exactly called REST, representation state transfer. Hope this word is clear to everyone now. What do you mean by REST? And we call it REST API. So this API will be taking responsibility of getting this request, sending it to B, getting this response, sending back to A. That is this whatever is happening here. This is your API. Okay, is that clear to everyone?
Yes. Can you repeat what is means by REST?
Okay, REST is okay. So REST, the full form you want, right?
Yep.
So this REST, if you go with this is representation state transfer. And we saw, right? What is representation? What is state? What is transfer?
Okay.
So the record in this table, right? That is representation of state, RES. And then that information is getting transferred over a network. That is what we are transferring the data over network, right? So we are representing some state, right? And that getting transferred over a network. That is called REST.
Got it. Thank
okay.
You.
Now we have one more, which I said, right? So this is not this is out of scope for us, because we'll be focusing on only REST APIs. Okay. Because Anypoint platform only supports REST APIs. But SOAP is nothing but a little complex. Okay. So it transfer the request and response in only XML format. I'll show you how this looks like. Request and response only transfers in XML. But in case of REST, you can use any data format. Text format, HTML format, JSON format, XML format, CSV format. You can use any format. There is no restriction on REST. But in case of SOAP, you'll be using XML only. Okay. In case of REST, we can use any method. We have seen that, right? In case of REST, we can use get method. You can use post method. You can use delete and blah, blah, blah. But in case of SOAP, you can use only post method. Okay.
Post means create, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let me show you that how the, and we talked about the specification for SOAP web services. The specification is written in language called WSDL. This is web service description language. Okay. Now let me show you quickly how it looks. So if I go to my, this is also online available. Okay, so these both links I'll give it to you. There is something called DNE online calculator. You can go ahead, and this is a SOAP service available. Okay, and if you want to see the WSL of this, just put a question mark at the end and add WSD. You'll be able to see the complete WSD. Now closely have a look at it. Okay. Anyway, I'll share this link with everyone in the chat. You can get it from chat. So where is my chat? Hope everyone is able to see this link in the chat. Okay. Okay. So have a look at this document. This is a document of this SOAP API, SOAP web service specification. Now have a look at it. If you closely see, if you understand, I'm assuming that everybody understands the XML, right? Anybody is not able to understand XML, please let me know. Okay. Now, if you see in this specification, I clearly mentioned that the specification document will have information about what all methods are available. You see here, add method is there. Then it is returning its response, add response. Then there is a subtract method. Then it's returning subtract response, multiply method, multiply response. Okay. Divide is there, divide response is there. Now, if I go to add method, what all inputs are expected? See here. So input A, input B is expected. How many times? Minimum and maximum occur 1 means this is a required parameter, right? And what is the data type of it? So if you look at add method, it says that 2 input parameters are, and those are required, and the data type of those input parameters is int. Then it's generating a response, and the response also requires here minimum occurrence and maximum occurrence is 1. That means you cannot skip this, right? That means it's a required. It will be returning add result, and add result is also integer. I don't want to discuss other methods. Same information will be there in the other methods also. So what do you mean by this? This is giving, this document is giving how many methods are available, what is the return type of that method, what all input parameters are expected by this method, right? So that's your document for you. The similar document we'll be writing during our training. Okay, but that document we'll be writing in RAML. But we are not going to write WSDL, we are going to write RAML, because RAML we are going to write for REST APIs, because our focus is on REST API. So am I clear so far? What is API? What we do with API? What is REST API? SOAP, little bit about this is simple object access protocol. Okay, so if you wanted to see the full form of SOAP, this is simple object, because request and response always object, simple object access protocol. Clear? And if you want to use this, you need a WSDL document. Okay. Now, if you want to really access this, which is all online available, either you can use the SOAP UI. There are tools called SOAP UI, or you can use a Postman. Okay, so if you want to see that, right, how we can access these guys, you can go ahead and pass the request and access it. Okay, so I'll show you how to access REST API. Hope you guys are using Postman little bit. Postman is a REST client, guys. Okay, from here we can invoke our APIs. So if you wanted to use that REST API, you can go ahead http://rec rest.in, that is your host. Then API/users is your path, and for whom you are asking data, 2 or 3, whatever, that is the ID. Now, if I trigger this, I'll be able to see the output over here. Okay. Now, if you look at this guy, when you are triggering this, this is your URL, right? This is your method. Now see what all methods are available: get, post, put, patch, delete. These are famous methods. Okay, everybody is aware of this, but there are other methods also. Okay, I'll recommend everyone to please read about these methods: copy, and head, options, link, unlink, purge, and all this. Okay, everyone go ahead and read about these methods, but we'll be focusing on get, till, delete. Okay, then we have URL. In this URL, we'll be having multiple things. Let me go back. So today I'm actually discussing basics, guys. So hope you're okay with that. Okay. So now if we talk about URL is nothing but uniquely you are locating your resource. Okay. So unique resource locator. Now this in this unique resource locator means for every resource there will be unique identified URL. Okay, same URL is not going to work for other resource. So that's the reason the word is coming called unique resource locator. Okay, so resource is the entity, uniquely you are locating it. Okay, so that means this URL is going to work with only this resource. You cannot use the same URL for any other resource. Am I clear with that?
Yes.
Now, if you look at the one example I'm taking, from the URL. So let's say we have, okay. So in general, I'll write the URL. Then you can. So there'll be a protocol. Then there'll be :// This is the format. Okay. Then there'll be a host. Then after the host, you will be having path. And if you are going with this, you can have here
parameters.
Yeah, URI parameter.
Okay.
If after /, okay. So I'm just putting all this. Okay. Now, if you have question mark, after question marks, what comes? Can you anyone explain me, please? So this is your path, this is your host, this is your protocol, this is your URI parameter. After question mark, what comes? Query parameter. Is this readable? Everybody is able to read this, whatever I'm writing right now? Guys?
Yes, I can.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's look at this. Okay. Now query parameters, there is no limit how many query parameters you can write. So now with this template, this is a template. Okay. So this first part, you can have here HTTP or HTTPS. Okay. Now, how many of you aware of HTTPS and HTTP? What is the difference between this? Any idea?
HTTPS is a secure network, we can say.
Okay.
And HTTP is unsecure.
Okay. So that's very layman, very abstract answer. Okay. So HTTP is when we are sending request from client to server, it goes in plain text. Okay. And when we are sending request via HTTPS, it will be always encrypted. Okay, so you cannot see anything which is getting traveled over a network from client C to S, client to server. But in case of HTTP, it's a completely plain text. Anybody can hack your connection and get the information. So that's the reason, if you look at the site like Amazon.in, your banking site, Google.com, Amazon.com, your Twitter, Facebook, all are having HTTPS. Right? If I go and quickly see here, see if I log into something called, I think Google.com, right? So if I enter this, if you look at the URL, see here, HTTPS, right? And the lock, this lock is telling that, okay, this connection from my browser to the Google server is secure. Okay. And you can see the certificate also. You can go here and look at the information. Certificate is valid. All the information coming over here. See the details about certificate, who is creating this certificate, all this. See here. This is a wildcard certificate, star.google.com. We call it wildcard certificate. Clear to everyone? These are basics. Okay. I'm just today I'm dedicating this session for basics, so that on top of it, we never get any questions, right, for these basics. Okay. Now let me go to again to my URL. Okay. So now if I write a URL something like that, let me ask the questions on that. Okay. So if I write,
can you move to the previous page, please?
yes, I don't think I can go back to the previous page. What happened?
I was HTTP is used for encrypted message and HTTP.
Plain text.
Plain text.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So HTTP, if I write something like, just now we wrote res.in, okay, /API /users/2, okay. And then if I write something like, okay, sorry, my bad. Okay, hey, come on, to question mark, and let's say I say CT is equal to Mumbai, okay, and age is greater than, okay, or we can say equal to 10. Okay. Now, what is this HTTP means? Please, what is this HTTP? It's a protocol, right?
Protocol. Yeah.
What is this GET?
That is method.
Method, right?
Yeah.
What is this request.in?
Host.
Host. Right? What is this API/users?
URI parameters.
Path.
Oh yeah. That's
what is this two?
URI parameter, I think.
URI parameter. So if I say URI parameter is equal to 2, okay. What is this CT?
Query parameters.
Okay. Query
Whatever comes
parameter,
after.
okay. CT is query parameter. Query param, okay. So CT is a query param. What is the next query param?
Age.
Okay. And from this question mark till this end, what do you call this? These are all basics, guys. Okay. I'm not teaching, anything new. Okay. Just I'm cross-checking your fundamentals. What do you call it? From question mark till end, what do you call it?
Query parameters.
Query string. Okay. So now are we clear? Other than the URI parameter and query parameter, there is one more parameter called header parameter. Header parameters. And header parameters never exposed to a URL. Be very clear with that. Header parameters we used for passing sensitive information like your token, like your client ID, client secret, client ID, client secret. All these informations will pass in header parameter so that it won't be visible in URL at all. So now my question is, if I have plain text wanted to send to the server, I can use query parameters. Okay. If I want to send sensitive information like my client ID, client secret, token, this I'll be using header parameter. Okay, so in Postman, if I want to send, right, have a look at it. What all places are there? So now you see here params. This params is nothing but a query param. So here, if I go and add something here, okay, so let's say add city. Now look at my URL, how the URL is getting changed. See the automatically question mark added, and then if I have value, add if I value here, right, Mumbai, how it looks. See here.
Yeah.
So this section is for query parameters. If I want to pass headers, okay, so if I want to pass client underscore ID, okay, let's say some 1 2 3 4 5. Now it won't be visible in the URL, but it will be going as part of your request. So finally, if you want to hit this, right, send, this URI parameter also will go, 2 will go, query parameter city will go, and your header parameter client ID also will go with with your request. Now I am asking for give me data. That's why I'm saying get. If I want to create a record, okay, user record, okay, so if I remove this, when you're creating record, you cannot pass any query parameters, right? That time you're sending information, so you can send some body. So in case of post, generally we send a body because with that information you wanted to create a record. You can go ahead and you can just say simply send. It will give you the output. Okay, so you just remove this and just say it will give you some information. Okay, so post means create record, get means query the record. Hope everybody's clear with the basics. Any questions on the basics, guys? Okay.
Not right now.
Few more details for you guys. So when we are, so if I'm hitting this kind of URL, okay, http://regress.in, okay, /API/users. Users, okay. Now if I trigger this way with a get method, what happens? Now this is exactly, if you guys are little bit aware with DB scripts. So what I'm saying here is this URL I'll map with this query. So what I'm saying is select star from users table.
Users table, yeah.
Right, exactly. Don't you, I mean, are you able to map it, right? And what do you call this query? This is complete blind query. Blind search, we call it. Okay, so hope all these are basics. Okay, I'm just trying to recall or refresh your concepts. Now if I call this URL, right, think about it. In your table, let's say you have million records. What will happen? Your network will be complete bandwidth, the network bandwidth you're consuming, right? And the response will be very slow, right? That means if I trigger this, I'll be getting array of records. Am I clear with this?
Yes.
Array of records. Now, let's say I'm not interested in all these records. I am interested in selected records. Now, let's say all the users which are coming from all the cities. Now I want to filter. I'm interested in only users from Mumbai. How I'll do it? Only I want the collection of records, but only interested in the Mumbai.
Where city is equal to Mumbai.
Yeah, so we'll go with query parameters. I'm not going to write it. I'm just checking. Okay, so we'll go with query parameters. Clear?
Mhm.
So if you want to filter the records from the collection of records, you'll go with query parameters. Now my requirement is I'm not interested in the collection of records. I want a unique record. I want a record for a specific user. Which parameter I supposed to use? Now I want a record for 101 user. Which parameter I supposed to use?
ID.
URI parameter. ID is yes, that is called URI parameter.
Yeah.
So can I say query parameter can give me either 0 record or more record? Okay, if your query parameter is matching, you'll get a record. Otherwise, you'll get multiple records. And can I say URI parameter always either give 0 records or 1 record? This is very important to understand. Okay, URI parameter will give me either 0 record, the ID is matching, then we'll get a record. If ID is not matching, 0 record. In case of query parameter, if your query parameter is matching, you'll get collection of records. If your query parameter is not matching, you'll get 0 records. Are we clear, everyone?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So if I go with this query parameter, right here, I'll be using where city is equal to Mumbai. Now, if I go with the URI parameter instead of this city, what I say? ID is equal to 101. Is exactly similar to the database concepts, right? It's very easy to understand, this way. If you map it to, here you can have get method, you can have post method, you can have put method, delete method, you can go ahead and use it. Okay, so are we clear with the URL, query parameters, header parameters, everything?
Yes.
Right? Okay. Now that's what the basics I wanted to cover. And now let's go and jump on to the what we are going to achieve. So first we'll be creating our account. So everybody, okay, so you can go to Anypoint. So this is the platform given by our MuleSoft. So here I have multiple accounts, but I don't want to go with that. I'll say create new account. Okay, so I'll give my name. Okay, so email address, some email address will give. Phone number, don't need to worry, give whatever you want. Okay, you don't need to give your actual company name. You can go ahead and give training and then use a unique ID. So I use my always I use this way. Okay, so MMA batch, this is my 30th batch. So, and we'll go ahead and say MMA, give a password, proper password. Okay, and then say I'm not robot. Accept the account. Save it. Okay, are we clear so far, guys?
Yes.
Okay, so we are going to focus on this. Okay, so now if you look at my screen, or if you have created your account, you will get something like this when you land on your, when you say anypoint.mulesoft.com. Okay, the moment you logged in with your credentials, you'll see this screen. Okay, so let me discuss about this screen. Okay, so this screen is nothing but your whatever you see here, right? This is called control plane. Okay, I'll give you the details about what is control plane, what is runtime plane, all that. But let's blindly consider or assume right now this is a control plane. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll take this, I'll use something to explain better way. Okay, so just give me a second, guys. Okay. So let me take a screenshot so that I'll explain better way. Okay. Are you able to see my screen properly?
Yes.
Okay. So now on my screen, if you see, let me take red pen. Okay, fine. Okay. So the URL, if you see here, right, this URL, this is the control plane URL, which is CP control plane. And this, whatever you see here, right, this ID. So this is when you create account, you will get one master business group, okay, or master organization, master org. So that is the idea of that master org. And the master org, the name will be same, whatever name you give while creating our account, right, company name, that is your name of the master organization. And this is the idea of this master organization. So the ID will be associated with this master organization. Okay. This anypoint.mulesoft.com, this is a control plane. What do you mean by this? If I go here to my whiteboard, okay. Let me go to the new whiteboard. So control plane is something where you show the UI, web UI. Now in this via UI, you can perform multiple operations. Okay. So you can create API specification. You can go and deploy your API. You can go ahead and deploy. You can go ahead and monitor. You can go ahead and secure your API. Now, these are nothing but your life cycle of API. You are creating API, you're deploying API, you are undeploying API, you are monitoring your API, you are securing your API. And for these activities, we have components here on our web UI. So there are components like design center. We have component like API manager. We have component like runtime manager. Okay. So on our web UI, we are getting components which do this job for us. Clear? So on our Anypoint platform, which is a control plane, which is giving you us the UI to perform these operations. Now, if you go back to my page here, you see here the design center I was talking about. So here, if you read, we can go ahead and design our API. The design the API is nothing but writing specification of the API. What all methods will be there for a resource. If I'm writing an API for user, then what all methods, what all resources, what kind of security, what kind of request will be coming, what kind of response will be going back, all that information will be writing in design center. Okay, that is one component. Okay, we will discuss in detail. Okay, then we have management center over here, one more component where we'll be controlling the access of users. We'll be applying policies on the API. We'll be deploying, undeploying our API. We'll be applying governance on the API. We can see the public, visualize our application network. So, during our journey, we'll be creating multiple APIs. The moment you create multiple APIs, that becomes an application network, right? So from the visualizer, we can go ahead and see the complete network of your organization. So in that organization, how many APIs are there, right? And out of those APIs, what all APIs are, experience APIs, process APIs, system APIs. We're going to discuss all those things in detail. But let's first talk about this guy. So in the management center, all management specific components are there, like access management, API manager, runtime manager, API governance, visualizer, monitoring, and secret manager. Design center will be creating that specification and the exchange. Okay. So let me go back to my whiteboard. Okay. So the component which is I am getting design center. So this guy is to create API specification. And we'll be using language called RAML. Okay. And the full form of this is REST API modeling language. Just like WSDL, web service description language, this is our REST API modeling language. And this is actually recommended by MuleSoft. Okay. Earlier, there was no specification for REST APIs, guys. Now, the moment MuleSoft came into picture, they started writing specification for your APIs, REST APIs also. Earlier, only SOAP API used to have specification. Okay. Now we have component called. So the moment you write this, now what we'll do, we'll publish this a specification to the market. That market is nothing but exchange. Now everybody is using mobile, right? In your mobile, there is something called App Center, right? App Exchange. If you're using Android phone, you'll get their App Store. Okay, iOS, you'll get App
Play
Store
Store.
for Android, it's a Play Store. For iOS, for iPhone, it's App Store. Correct? Am I right, Kunal?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, what is this? Now, if exactly what we are doing is, if somebody creates an app and they wanted to share that app with other community or the other consumers, they'll be publishing their app to this app store. Then only it will be visible for the public. Unless they publish that app to this exchange, okay, this I'll combine these two guys and I'll say exchange, because every app you'll be creating 2 copies, right? One copy will go to App Store, one copy will go to Play Store. Now, the moment it's available in the Play Store or App Store, it will be visible to the public. That's what we are going to do in our Anypoint platform. The moment you create the specification, we'll publish it to the exchange so that it will be available for my organization people, and that information will be published over there, that okay, boss, I am going to implement a API for users so that other people won't get impacted, or they won't start again the same API implementation. Do you think with the same implementation, and then if you go to the App Store, right, we'll be getting for the same, like for the Ola cab, right? You'll be getting multiple instances, right? Possible? In App Store or Play Store, if I search for Ola cab, what do you get? You get one instance or multiple instances?
Multiple.
Okay, so the multiple instances are nothing but the same implementation is implemented by multiple vendors. Correct?
Yeah.
If they are implementing same thing multiple times, so they are not using something called reusability. So they are actually reinventing the wheel again and again. They are wasting time. And that I wanted to avoid. So if I publish my specification exchange, all my org people or developers, they'll become to know that there is a API specification for users. We don't need to implement again. So this is nothing but a one shop or marketplace where my organization assets, I can go ahead and publish it there. Whether it's a connector, whether it's an API, whether it's a template, anything I can go ahead and publish it on this exchange for my organization. Am I clear so far? Here I'll be creating it. So here I'll be writing specification. I have not implemented, guys. Okay. I have written only a specification. That specification I have published it over here. So that means other people come to know that there is a user API is going to get implemented, but specification is ready. Clear with these two components? What are their capabilities? Okay, so Exchange will have, it can have API, it can have connectors. We'll talk about what is connector means. It can have templates. Okay, so this kind of components will be, the assets will be available on Exchange. You can go ahead and search for it. And once you get it, you'll be able to see. So let's go ahead and see how it looks. So you can say discover and share. If you go here, by default, MuleSoft provided some assets already. Okay, so there is an option called provided by MuleSoft. If you go here, you can search for different kinds of assets over here. Connectors, templates, example, policies, API, blah, blah, blah. See here. If you go ahead and search for any connector, okay, so there are 20 results. See, Salesforce connector is already available. Now, this Salesforce connector is something, we'll talk about it later, but I'll little bit glimpse I'll give you. So connector is nothing but, if you guys are coming from Java background, right? Anybody is coming from Java background? Anybody is coming
No,
from
I'm
Java
not.
background?
Yes.
I'm not.
Okay. So if you see, this is a Salesforce over here, SFDC we call it. Now, if you are writing a Java program, what do? You write custom code here. How to connect to this Salesforce, right? This custom code. Now, I am not anymore a Java guy. I'm a MuleSoft guy now. Okay. And MuleSoft is nothing but low code platform, low code framework, I'll say, or platform, whatever name you want. People are misusing all these names nowadays. Now, what is low code platform means? Minimum code, low code or no code. This term is also very famous. No code or low code. So I'm not going to write this code again and again. Okay. So for that, I have already given a connector. And if I use this connector in my code or my MuleSoft applications, it will tell me, just give me a information, your host, your credential. That's it. I'll take care of how to connect it and how to, all this complexity, what we have written over here, testing, blah, 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 that is already taken care by the connectors. So that's the reason MuleSoft is so famous, right? They are giving, 200 plus connectors free. Okay, there are some chargeable connectors. If you go for medical domain, right? In that area, you'll get HL7. Those are chargeable, but 200 plus connectors are free to make my life easy. Okay, so you can see easily how to connect Amazon S3 bucket, how to connect SAP, how to connect MongoDB, Twilio. This is the text. Okay, text text sending or text applications. You can use this and you will get a mobile number. You can text people from this API, Twilio. Okay, Workday. So all these connectors are available on the fly. You don't need to write any custom logic how to connect to Salesforce. It's already available over here out of the box. You just get this connector, start using it. So one of few of them we'll use in our POCs during our training. So we'll use Salesforce, we'll use AWS S3. If I get a time, we'll use MongoDB also. Okay. So we have a lot of things to discuss. That's the reason I said if we get a time, we'll use MongoDB also. But database, definitely MySQL database or MS SQL database we'll use. Okay, clear to everyone? I only showed one type of asset which is there. You can go ahead and see.
Do we have for
examples?
Postgres?
Yes.
Do we have for Postgres as well?
Postgres, yes. You can go ahead and use it. Okay. So now some examples are already there, Kunal. Okay. Now, if you want to simply implement, see cache mapping example, order to cache. This example is already implemented. You just need to download or import this example in Anypoint Studio. and just change your credentials. Your API is ready. Okay, so they have given examples. Even they have given template. You can go ahead and use the templates. Okay, and start your work. So the skeleton will be ready. You just need to, fill in those blanks. Your host, your credentials, that's it. Right? So because of this capabilities, or what we'll say, the features, the MuleSoft is so famous. Okay. Now, if you look at my screen right now, this is the exchange, right? We are getting 3 horizontal bars here. You can anytime you can navigate from here. You can go to Design Center, you can go to Exchange, you can go to Data Graph. So Data Graph is new features. It's out of scope for us. We are not going to discuss. We are going to discuss Design Center, Exchange, and Management Center. Okay, clear to everyone?
Yes.
Okay, so the connectors, it's very clear. Now, if we go back, so we have Design Center over here, right? We are clear with that, what we are going to do. We have Exchange, which is our one shop, or we can say marketplace, which is Exchange. So whatever I'm going to write here, that will get published eventually on this Exchange, so that my organization people will come to know that there is something, getting implemented. We should not implement that part again. We can directly go and reuse it. Okay. Then something called Management Center here. Management Center. In this Management Center, we have a lot of things. So I'll go ahead first. The first one is, I'll say, Runtime Manager. Okay. Or before that, let me start with Access Management. So in the Access Management, if we go ahead, we can create or invite users. Invite users. So basically in Access Management, if you look, you go with the word itself, right? We are actually managing access over here. So what this user should have, all permissions. Okay. So there will be users like admin and normal users. So from here, I can control the access of users, either manually providing permissions, or I can go ahead and create teams over there. So I can create a team and I can give permissions to this team, required permissions, and then assign users to this team. So that means if I simply add a users to this team, whatever permissions are given to this team, those permissions will be assigned to that particular user. I don't need to go ahead and for each and every user, go ahead and apply the permissions. So I'll be creating teams, different responsibility team, like I'll be having DevOps teams. I'll be having API designers. So different, I'll be having developers, API developers. So based on the responsibilities, I'll be creating team and I'll be providing access. That means set of permissions I'll be giving to these teams. Now, the moment people are joining my organization, I'll be keep on adding those users or developers or support team. Accordingly, I'll add those users to this respective team. So automatically they'll be inheriting the permissions from the team automatically. Okay. So user access management will be done with the help of access management, with the help of teams. Okay. Now, in the access management, if you remember, we are seeing here master business group, right? So let's go to the access management. Okay, so you click on this try new features. This MuleSoft will keep on adding new features. Okay, so you can go ahead and select this option. So it will tell you that what all new features are added, and every feature will have a tag. See here, team is new. Down, if you see the composer sync, the trusted domains, these are new features added. Okay. Now, I was talking about users and teams. These are the top two. So in teams, you can go ahead. So by default, you'll get one team with the master org. See, everyone add team. You remember this is the training is our master business group, correct?
Mhm.
So by default, we'll get a team, and all the members of organizations will be part of this team automatically by default without zero access. Now, no permissions are given to
Okay,
this particular.
so they will not get any minimum permissions.
No, not at all. Nothing, but they will be part of this particular team. Okay. If you want to create teams now, you can go ahead and create team. For example, let's say I wanted to create a team called API. Okay, I say designers. Okay, now all my API designers, I can go ahead and add those members here. So I can go ahead and add a member. Now I'll search for myself. See here, my name is there. I'll go ahead and add myself as a part of this team. Now I am a member of this team. If you go ahead here and if you go to child team, because everyone at training is a 0th level, I can say in the hierarchy, it's like a CEO. Okay, CEO of your company, everyone at training. The child team just now I created. If you go here and if you see, once you refresh it, it will come over here. Okay, so I think some bug or something is there. After some time it will come over here, the name. Now it's coming now, see, right? So you can see that my name is over here. Now you can go to this API designer and you can assign the permissions. So you can say add permission here, and designer should have permissions to only to, they can design, right? So there is a design center developer permission, and once they develop, right, they should have permission to publish it to the exchange. So you can go ahead and search for exchange. So you should have access to exchange contributor, because you are contributing to exchange on viewer. This you should not be administrator, exchange administrator. Okay, just these three permissions should have every business group. And okay, see here, now whenever I have whenever some API designer is joining my company or my organizations, I directly go to the members section and I'll add that person in this team. So automatically that member will be having the permissions which are given in this team. Clear, everyone?
Yes, got it.
Okay, roles is deprecated. It's part of the teams now. Okay, now when we are talking about roles, environments, and business group, this all are inherited over here. Okay, so now let's see. Whenever you create an account, Anypoint platform account, default you'll get two environments. Okay, one is your, so once you create Anypoint platform account,
Sandbox and design.
okay, so one business group, master business group, you'll get it with your company name, whatever company name you mention while creating the account, and that is called master business group, or we can say master org, two names. Okay, now under this business group you'll get two environments. One is for design
And one is
sandbox. Now any point of time you can rename this. Okay, so you're not going to use sandbox. Okay, we are going to rename this. We'll create dev. One more sandbox we'll create. We'll give name called test, and one more sandbox, because I'll tell you. Okay,
prod.
okay. But prod won't be your sandbox. So there is a production separate production type environment is there. Okay, so sandbox, the infrastructure for the sandbox will be, as compared to production, it won't be that strong. That's the reason they have given sandbox. So the infrastructure wise, the sandbox will be lower than the production.
Okay, and do we need to pay for the production?
Yeah, I'll come back to that point. Very good question. Okay, so the moment you create account, right, you need to buy a license. Okay, so when you buy a license, then only you'll get this account, Anypoint platform account. Right now we are working with the trial accounts, so the production won't be available for us. Let me show you. I'll come back to the license point also. Now go to business group. Now create business group. Now as per our, okay, I'll come back to this. Let me finish that first. Okay, so go to the master business group. Here we can create environment. So see here, the environments is added to business group now. The roles is added to business group now. So these two are merged with this business group now. Okay, and after some time, these two options will be deleted from here. Okay, this won't be there. Okay, in future. So be ready with that. So under environments, I have option to create. See, this is what I was talking about. The default, you'll get 2 environments. We have not created this, right? Hope you remember. You can go ahead and rename this any point of time. So we'll just say this is a dev. And each and every environment will get identification. So client ID and client security is always with the environment as well as the business group. Okay, so I don't want to save this. Now see dev. Now I can go ahead and create. See here, you can create production, you can create sandbox. You can create production, no problem. But let me show you one thing. Okay. If you go here down, runtime manager, you don't have available production vCores. Now you'll be asking, what is this, Ashish? What is this vCore means? Okay. So that answer I'm going to go here. Okay. So now, as I said, right, in real world, you won't be using trial account, correct? You need to buy a license. So we have 3 kinds of license available: gold, platinum, and we have titanium. 3 licenses are available. When you buy license, you will get the license in terms of vCores only. So how many vCores you want? Okay. So this license will come with vCores. In vCores, you'll get vCores for sandbox separately and for production separately. Now, if you see my trial account, I don't have any production vCores. If I don't have production vCore, can I create an account? Can I create an environment? Yes, I can create, but nothing you can deploy because there are no vCores here. I can definitely go under business group, under my business group. I can go ahead. I can create environment, production environment. I can say prod. Nobody will stop me creating. But can I deploy anything here? No.
No.
You cannot deploy because vCores are not associated with your account right now. Let me go back. But sandbox, they have given the 1 vCore. Okay. Now this one vCore, you can if you want to deploy 1 application, you can go with the 0.1. That means maximum 10 applications you can deploy in your environments. So now if you are creating multiple environments, this 1 vCore will get splitted over there. So now if you see, if you go to business group back, and right now how many environments are there? Dev and prod. Definitely we are not going to use prod. So let's delete this because nothing is there. What is the point in creating that environment, right? Delete. So for testing point of view, we'll create all sandbox. So we'll create test. Okay, and we'll go ahead and create 1 more sandbox, but now the name we'll give is the prod. Clear, everyone?
Yes.
So I'm trying to show you the real world. Okay, in the real world, you'll be having dev environment, you'll be having test environment, you'll be having prod environment. So first you'll be deploying to dev, you'll do your own testing, then it will move to test. Your QA team will be doing testing over there, and finally the QA team is happy. Your test cases are accepted. Then it will move to production. That's how in real world it works. Clear to everyone?
Yes.
Right. This is how it works. Okay. So that is again a life cycle. Once it goes to the production, that is called release. We call it release. Okay. That will be released to your clients. So your clients will be accessing from production. They won't be accessing from dev or test. Okay. So yeah, keep that in mind. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So are we clear with? So if you go to settings here, your business group also identified by this ID. I told you, right? The same ID will come in this URL also. See here. correct? So your business group also will have client ID, client secret, and unique ID. Your environment will also have client ID, client secret, and unique ID. Okay, your environment also will have unique ID. Clear?
Yep. Can you go to child groups?
Yeah, child groups. You can create more groups here. So right now we are in under
Training.
master business group. You can go ahead. Now let's say your company has multiple department, right? So let's say you are, if you go ahead and look at let's say your company, right? So if you go ahead here and your company, let's say ABC. In ABC, you have HR, you have sales, you have right, you have sales, let me say,
Yep.
you have
Administration.
development, you have admin, all this.
Mhm.
Now this is your actually company, right? So then exactly same hierarchy you can create it here. So ABC anyway is a master business group, right? Under this you will create a
Okay.
HR business group. Under the same master you will create sales. Under you will create dev. So this exactly will be replicating your org structure in your business group. Clear?
And can we create a team on this basis?
Yes, exactly. You will be creating team like this only. So in HR, HR will be creating first we'll be creating environments. Under HR, you will be having dev, we'll be having test, we'll be having prod. Under sales also we'll be having dev, we'll be having test, we'll be having prod. Under admin also will. Then similar to HR, we'll be creating in HR, you can have API designer, right? You can have DevOps teams. So every business group will have its own territory, right? In that territory, they will be having their environments, they will be having their teams. Okay. So for each business group, specific teams will be there. So same teams will be repeating for sales also, for dev also, same environments will be repeating for sales and dev also, to replicate the exact org structure of the company. Clear?
Yes, for me, yes.
Okay. So if you want to create that, you definitely will go ahead and create the business groups here. If you want to create it right away, let me show you one example. We can go ahead and say HR. Okay. Sorry, actually the name is of, okay. So HR, and under whom you are creating, see, always the first parent will be your master business group, parent of all, right? Now, who is the owner of this business group? Right now, only one user is there on my platform. So I'll say I'm the owner of all the business groups. So are you allowing to create another business group under this? You can say yes or no. If you wanted to keep, this is the last, the hierarchy of the, your business group, then you can simply uncheck this and say that under this business group, definitely I'll be creating environments. But the moment you create this business group, by default, two environments will be there. Okay. Now from this one vCore, you can give 0.4 to 0.5 to these guys. Give 0.5 from here, 0.5 from design. You can go ahead and create it. So if I create now, the HR business group is created under my master business group, which is the training. Now you can, from here also you can see, if you go back, if I open some other components from here, I'll just show you simple stuff. Okay. So if I wanted to open API manager somewhere, we'll discuss this later, but I just wanted to show you. See here training, and now see HR also visible. So root is the training, and under training you see HR. Now see the environments, you'll be able to see dev, prod, and test.
And you shared the vCore, right?
Yeah,
So,
I shared the vCore. So now root has only 0.5 and HR has a 0.5. Now under HR, if I deploy something, those 0.5 will be used.
So only 5
use,
application we can deploy in HR and 5 in root, right?
Yes. If you cross those 5, your deployment will fail because you don't have that much bandwidth available, right?
Got it. Okay.
So hope this is clear. And the rest of the things are not part of developer. Okay. These are architect level, the concepts, but we are not going to go deep, but let me explain. Identity provider is something where, so right now we have Anypoint platform. On Anypoint platform, we are inviting users. So all the users identity is maintained on Anypoint platform only. Okay. Which is risky because this is not in your control. Where it is getting stored, what all information is getting exposed to whom you are not aware of it. Okay. So this is risk. You definitely you can use Anypoint platform as your identity management. But before buying MuleSoft, your company already have the identity provider, something like Okta or Salesforce,
Yeah.
or Active Directory or OpenAM. All these kind of tools are there. The company generally uses to maintain their users' identity.
Yep.
Now I don't want to maintain over here. I have option to integrate this with Anypoint platform. That is called, that option is identity provider. Okay.
Okay.
Clear? That is the option.
Yes.
Now, if you go back here to access management, go back. Okay, I'll go back here. Multi-factor authentication, everybody is aware of it. It's very famous. Even if you have client ID, client secret, if you want to send a unique code on your mobile, this is called MFA, multi-factor authentication. Right now, I have not enabled it. Okay. So once it is enabled, you can go ahead and even if you logged in, right, it will ask you to provide me the unique code.
Unique code.
Okay. So it is like you have right credentials, but are you the guy who is using these right credentials? Right. Sometimes you can share with someone, right? So that also not allowed.
We are using right now for our organization. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay. Now once you enable this multi-factor authentication, right, there will be other challenges. I'll tell you later. Those are architect level things, but still I'll client provider is something where your clients will be having the credentials. Okay. So who wants to access your APIs, those will be coming from client provider. Audit logs are something where audit logs, by the name itself, maybe you got it, right? These are used for auditing point of view, any misuse of the access. Okay. So what all you have done on Anypoint platform, everything will get logged on your audit logs. So right now, if you remember what we have done, if you see here, see, I have created HR, I have created prod, I have created test, all these things. Who created? The username also will be here. So if you want to catch somebody, somebody did some misuse of your their credentials, right? You can easily catch them from here. You can download this audit logs. These will be available for 6 years. Audit logs will be available for 6 years. If you want to see on the UI, you can go ahead and you can give the dates and time and see the logs. You can go to the specific business groups and you can look at this the logs. Okay, so in HR right now, design environment got created and sandbox automatically, right? So that also get logged here. Clear?
Yep.
And you can download it as a CSV file and you can keep it for the audit point of view. Later in the future, you wanted to see, right? Or you want to generate some dashboard. Is there any violation? So access violations will be tracked from audit logs. Clear? Yes. And finally, we have two options now. Connected app. Anybody is aware of connected app?
Yeah, I think Salesforce or Facebook or anything external app.
Yeah. No, what do we mean by that? Why we have connected apps and why we have external access? Okay.
So Okay.
Just hold on. Huh? Okay. So connected app is something, but like, let's say your Anypoint platform is there, right? Now you have credentials. So you are logging into the UI. You do whatever you want. Okay. Now what you want to do on behalf of you, okay, on behalf of you without sharing your credentials, on behalf of you without sharing your credentials, if somebody steals your credentials, right, that guy will be having access to your Anypoint platform. That guy can log into your Anypoint platform and do whatever they want, and the audit log will show your credentials were there, right? Your user ID were there. That means everybody will consider you are the culprit, right? Now, if you don't want to share this and you want to delegate your access that is limited, you're getting it? Delegating your access which is limited to somebody else. That is exactly connected app. Now limited, you can create multiple apps saying that, okay, I have all the access to my Anypoint platform. Now via connected app, I'll give only access to API manager. Now I'll create one connected app with, so my access only, right? From my access, I picked only API manager access. I have created connected app. So now connected app has a client ID and client secret. Now with this client ID and client secret, people can interact with my Anypoint platform, but they'll be able to access only API manager. With this client ID and client secret, they cannot log into my UI. No way. But with this client ID and client secret, they can actually interact with my Anypoint platform from backend. Okay, from APIs or from Maven or from Anypoint CLI, they'll be able to access, but they'll be able to access only API manager, because in the connected app, I have given access to API manager. I'll create one more app and I'll say you can access my runtime manager. Now with this app, people can interact with your Anypoint platform and they can only access runtime manager. So this way you can control the access. You can stop sharing your Anypoint platform credentials, only share the connected apps. So when you in Salesforce, when you create a connected app, right, you actually mention what this connected app responsibility is. Correct? Kunal, is that clear?
Not very much, but yeah, I'm understanding them.
Yeah,
also.
Delegating your access and making it limited. Making it limited to API manager, making it limited to runtime manager.
Runtime manager, yeah.
Yes.
Got
so it. Yeah, you are making sure that, okay, that person should have this access only, should not have all the access. So I'll give this specific client ID, client secret to that guy. Without knowing me, even he can't do anything, right?
Okay.
Now, then there is something called external access. With this option, we'll stop here today. Okay. So external access is something. Okay. So let me. Now, external access. We'll discuss this point in detail again. But external access is something. If you remember, I said from the design center, we'll be exposing or publishing to the exchange. Right? Now, the moment you, let's say I have created specification for user API, and that user API specification I have published it over here. Now, whoever in my organization, right, they'll be able to see this. What if my clients, right? Let's say those clients are not part of my organization, right? I am serving for some client. Those are not part of my organization. So these are like outsider people, correct? So to give access to this outsider people, what I can do in Exchange itself, there is an option to publish the assets on public portal. The moment I expose my assets to public portal, anybody other than my org, anybody from the world can go ahead and see these assets. Whether it's a user API or any API, you wanted to make it publicly available. Okay. So there is a portal called public portal for my Exchange. You don't need to log into my public portal. It's always available. So
it is the same like which we are right now seeing on Exchange, right?
No. That is, since I have logged in, that's the reason I am able to see.
Okay.
This is my private portal. I'll tell you. Just let's go to this. This is my private portal. There is a down there. See, public portal. See this one. So this, you don't need any credentials. Anybody can visit your public portal and see. So on this public portal, you'll be exposing only the items which you wanted to make it public. Everything else will be under your private portal. Clear?
Okay. I'm talking about the provided by MuleSoft.
Those are public. Okay.
Yeah, like that. Okay.
But those are also coming since you have created account.
Okay.
Those are created by, so those are provided by MuleSoft. Yes, publicly available, but you have created account. That's the reason you are able to see.
And in the public portal, if they have a MuleSoft account or not, they will able to access that.
Yes.
Okay.
If their MuleSoft public exchange, you can go ahead and see. Now, if I select on this is my exchange. Now see the URL different, little bit different. If I give this URL to you, you don't need to log in. But right now I have not exposed anything, so you won't be able to see anything.
Okay.
So this portal is for marketing my assets, marketing my products. Okay, so I can go ahead and you can change my name or your company name over here. Properly, I can write message. I can customize this public portal. Okay, so properly for marketing my running campaigns, this is a public portal available. Okay. Now my requirement is little bit different now. So if I don't publish it to the public portal, all assets will be private to my organizations, right? If I expose them to the public portal, those will be available to all. Now I don't want to either what I want to do is from the public, from the outside world, I want to exchange or I want to share with trusted organizations only. Trusted. That means, let's say outside there are 10 organizations. Outside of, out of 10, I just wanted to share with 2. Now think about it. If I publish it here, it will be available for all 10. If I don't publish it here, it won't be available for all 10. Either none or all. That is what I could see right now. But I have option, which is external access. Now, why external access? What I'll do in my organizations, out of this 10, there are 2, right? Let's say A is 1 and B is 1, and my organization is C. So in this C, I'll add A as a trusted organization. I'll add B as a trusted organization. In A, I'll add C as a trusted organization. In B, I'll add C as a trusted organization. Now, I can share my assets from my organizations with A, and A can share his assets with C. So this external access will give option to share the assets between trusted organizations. If you go to the external access over here, where is the option? If I go here, external access here, see add organization. My organization name is right now training and this ID. So the A and B can get this value. I'll give them this value. You can read this. Okay. Allow access to resources between your organizations and external Anypoint organizations after each organization adds the domain name of other organizations. So they need to exchange their domain name, and domain name is this one. Your master organization name, with that some uniqueness will come. Okay, so this is random. Okay, there is no algorithm for this. So random ID, random number will be attached, suffix with this, and that will become your domain name. Okay, but definitely your master organization name will be there always. Now, I'm a C, right? So I'll go ahead and add A over here. I'll go ahead and add a domain name, add here. Okay, so there is no, definitely there is no, right? So I have some other, I can go ahead and add those, but I don't want to add it right now. Clear? And then after you add it, right, between those two trusted organizations, you can share your assets. Clear?
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll stop here for today. Hope you enjoyed the session.
Yes. Any specific link for that methods which you ask us to